For this month's episode of Virginia Beach Frontline Firefighter, Master Firefighter Kevin Sweeney reviews cause and origin investigation. And in the final segment for this month's Frontline Firefighter, Battalion Chief Reynolds reviews elevator operations during a fire. I'm retired Master Firefighter Tom Parks, and you're watching Virginia Beach Frontline Firefighter. Here's your host, Virginia Beach Public Information Officer, Art Kahn.
Hi, I'm Art Kahn. You know, an experienced instructor and former Virginia Beach Firefighter of the Year, retired Captain Ray Irizarry, once told me that when it really counts, you will not rise to the level of your expectations, but rather fall to the level of your training. At the Virginia Beach Fire Department, that training begins here at the Fire Training Center with our recruits. In our first segment, our recruits go out with Master Firefighter Kevin Sweeney from the Fire Marshal's office to learn about investigating the cause of a fire.
Hi, this is Master Firefighter Kevin Sweeney, and we are here at Jackson Street doing the cause and origin investigation part of their training for the current Fire Academy. This fire, we tried to mimic an electrical fire from an outlet. We basically lit the inside of the outlet, cracked it, lit the inside of the wall on fire, and then let a pattern develop. But some of the other things that you may notice, other than the fire, okay, what are you guys smelling right now? There's a lot of different smells that you're gonna find at a fire. One's obviously, you know, we have a lot of plastics, a lot of synthetics. You're gonna have wiring, which is gonna smell plastic. Even the wall coverings will smell, and especially once you get them wet. You know, if you have a body, you're gonna have a completely different smell. But getting back, so what are we seeing here? We obviously, it's pretty obvious, where's my point of origin? Okay, other than the fact that you have a big black stain on the wall, what are some of the other things that we're seeing here?
The bed, half the bed burned out.
Okay, so obviously the coverings of the mattress are burned back, and you can see here you've got foam, you've got batting, you've got material, and depending on when the mattress was manufactured, you're going to have a different, flame retardancy standards. Let's look at this headboard here. So the headboard kind of tells me a story. All right, so when we were talking about char in the classroom earlier, what are we looking at here?
The depth.
Depth of char.
You can see how that one was burning a lot longer than it.
Okay.
At that bottom corner. And it's hotter.
Okay, what potentially caused, what do we have down here? It's not really a protected area, but it obviously didn't get as hot as up top. We'll look at the level of the outlet.
It's kind of underneath. It's a good line right here, almost like all the way across from where the heavy charring is. Started at that level.
Sure. What might have caused that charring down below?
What's the mattress and everything else going on fire?
Sure. Some of the synthetics that are burning, they're going to, depending if they're a thermoset or a thermoplastic, they're going to drip, a little bit, and so you're going to have a fire that's going to start burning at a lower than the outlet. What are we looking up? What did that?
Clean burn?
No, it's actually not clean burn. This is one of those special patterns that we're looking at. What does it look like caused that? Look at how it's kind of got spots all over it. That's a stream generated pattern. Okay, that's where they hit the ceiling, okay, and pushed the water, just basically cleaned it, okay. Another thing, we don't really have a clean burn right here, but this house, when you're looking at wall coverings, obviously you have drywall, right? Which you basically mud your seams and paint over it, prime it and paint it. On this, you put up, they put up what's called blue board, and then they put a skim coat of plaster on top of this, okay? This is gonna burn different than just a regular drywall. You can see where that plaster is heated up. It's actually at a certain point it's acted as an insulator, protected the wall. But once it gets hot enough, look what it starts doing. It starts popping off. So it's a completely different burn. These rooms will retain a lot more heat and will maintain their integrity longer than something that's just been mudded with and tape. Another thing to look at in this room is you can see where the burning comes up here. Clean wood, unburned for the most part, and you can see where it's starting to really significantly char right there, and it's even it has a little bit of calcination on there, where the moisture's being pulled out of the drywall. So, what do you think we would want to preserve here as far as, so if I'm coming to the scene, you've called me, you want me to look at something, what do you want to preserve on this? You're going to have to, you're going to have to overhaul, make sure the fire is out, but save as much of this as you can, because it helps me be able to place it back on there. Don't tear up the stud too much. Don't knock out that other wall. When the fire's out, the fire's out. If there's a big batten of insulation, try and remove that as a whole and lay it to the side. You guys can tear this stuff up, just leave it in as big pieces as you can and kind of move it to the side and make mental notice where you took it from. You're obviously going to dismantle stuff and throw this out. Just remember the orientation, you know, how it was in here. If there were blankets on top, not blankets on top, so save all that stuff, just move it aside. Put it out, move it aside.
You guys think that's clean? Yeah, that's pretty clean, isn't it? That was burning hot, right? Look at the drywall. See how it's kind of pitted like that? It's on. All the paper's gone. All the paint's gone. I mean, that's about as clean as you can get drywall without it totally failing and falling down and exposing the wood. Okay? That's hot. Same thing on the ceiling. You've lost all your tape joints. What else do you notice over here? What about these? Heavy charring, little less, less, and almost absolutely none. Same thing on the top board, right? The header for that. Got really, really heavy charring over there. So, all right, we're focusing it on over there. All right, what else do we notice here down low?
Heavy charring right there on the corner of the chair.
Okay, and what else on this? What about the baseboard? It's clean, right? Clean, and then it starts burn. You see the charring, heavy charring, heavy, comes around the corner and stops, okay? All right, floor is pretty well intact all the way around the floor, right? Low burning all the way around this. If this was like a cigarette or something started back here or electrical, you know, somebody said, oh, we got a lamp, we got electrical, you're probably not going to have this real low burning here, okay? All right. So we pretty comfortable with this being the origin? Yeah? Okay, well, how do you explain the couch? Okay, what are we thinking about how our flow was going? Our flow path. So it was... What was this fire doing? It was looking for what? Fuel, oxygen. It wanted to be fed. So could have been the door cracked, right? Look around now. Look at the walls. Look back here. What are these? Man, look, are those intact or are they?
They're melted.
They're melted. So did you guys see anything when you guys were burning before? Any rollover?
A little bit.
Was it up on the ceiling and coming around? Okay. All right. So you think that's a possibility? Could have been something sitting here. The blanket was on the back. Might have caught the blanket, right? All right, what do you guys notice about the wall all the way around? You see it all the way through this entire room. You guys remember what that's called?
Line of demarcation.
There you go. Okay, so what is that? That's smoke, right?
Yeah.
Heavy, thick black smoke. What is smoke?
Fuel.
It's fuel. Fuel, very good. So what do you think that fire was doing? It was building. It was eating that. That smoke is that's fuel for it. So is this, you know, built up? Think it's plausible that maybe rolled over and caught this couch on fire?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Especially if we're look at the door. I mean, that door was, you could see where the line was. You can see where the heavy smoke, I mean, that's almost, if this would have gone much more.
It probably caught.
Very well.
Hi, thanks for watching this segment of the cause and origin for the new recruits. If you have any questions about this, give the FMO a call. Thanks.
We train our recruits in all aspects of the profession, as you just saw in that previous segment. In our next segment, Battalion Chief Billy Reynolds takes our recruits out to train them about using elevators during a high-rise fire.
In this training segment, we ended up taking TRFA 161 as part of their high-rise training to the Quality Inn off of 9th Street in Atlantic, where the recruits were exposed to using elevator keys to take fire service control of the elevators and run companies and equipment up to the floors below where the fire is indicated. Also, they got the opportunity to work with the fire service elevator keys to open up your hoistway doors to gain access to the cabs if we have reports of somebody stuck in an elevator. So it was a great day of training. I believe they got a lot out of it, but it doesn't stop with the Recruit Academy. They have to continue to train once they're out in the field and assigned to their specific companies to stay up. And if not, this is a very perishable skill if you're not at least being exposed to it at least monthly. Our high-rise policy now says first 3 engine companies and first truck company are going to go to 2 floors below, right? Yes. Like I said, if it's 5 floors or below, we're going to walk it. We're simulating today, maybe this building's a 12-story building and we got a fire on number 11. We're going to come to the elevators. You've got to find where the keys are, and where do they typically keep these elevator keys?
Behind the desk.
Maintenance, behind the desk, where else?
In the fire panel.
Okay, could be in the Knox box. Typically, if the building has a Knox box, which a lot of them do, we go there, we have the key, the repository key for the box. It could be kept in the fire control room. Where else were you saying, Adam?
A lot of times, especially kind of the nicer, fancier hotels like the Hilton, some of those places, they have their own engineers for the hotel, and they'll keep them. So you got to go to the front desk, have them call the engineer, you know, phone, radio, whatever. They'll bring it to you.
And he brings up a great point. Once that engineer, you have them, don't let them leave your side. Especially if you come in there as taking lobby, maybe as the 4th or 5th due engine company, depending on the severity of the fire. I'm not going to let them go as an incident commander. And if they're in lobby, they are your best friend because they know the systems, they know how to shut them, they know how to isolate them, they know where the keys are, and they're going to call additional members to come in to assist the fire service companies with mitigating the incident. So they're a huge asset. So when we talk about elevator rescue, you find your elevators. And one of the big things that I know that Adam and his crews do when they get down here, if we're going to use it and it is a fire call, even if we're going to use the elevators on maybe a commercial or residential high-rise alarm, and we're going to use them, these elevators, if there's an alarm of fire, and that's what I call it, an alarm of fire until we deem differently, if there's an alarm of fire, do we treat it like it's the real deal?
Yes, sir.
Always, always, always. Never drop your guard. These elevators, say I'm getting an alarm on number 12. These elevators, unless they're above that, should be recalled all the way back down to the lobby. What's going to happen once it's recalled? What are the doors going to do? They're going to open. All right? Now, if you get an alarm of fire from maybe the lobby, newer systems are designed to maybe stop the floor above or 2 floors above. Older systems, which this is a much older system. And typically our elevator companies are like ThyssenKrupp and Schindler. This is probably an older Westinghouse style elevator, just looking at the system and the keys and the way it's designed. But you have to know your systems. You have to know your buildings through your pre-planning. So we talk about it recalls down here. Does that mean it's in phase 1 for us? No, not until you get these keys. And like Adam says, when I come up here, I'm going to take the light, and once I get that elevator's going to be open. A critical piece right here is to take that light, and you want to check up here in the shaft. Why?
Smoke, fire, water.
Smoke, fire, water. Are we going to use it?
Check both shafts usually.
Yep.
Both shafts.
Both of them. You know, and it could be a 4-bank or 6-bank elevator depending on the size of the occupancy. But if it's a single or even dual like Adam's saying, you got to come up here and check. And if you have water in there, are we going to use it? That's an automatic second alarm because obviously something up there is activated to either the sprinkler system or something's happened. So right now we know we're most likely going to deal with some smoke. And that's what kills people in a lot of these high-rise incidents. It's not so much the fire for the occupants and the victims, it's the smoke travel. Whether it is mushrooming, traversing up, or it's being pushed down through a reverse stack effect. Again, smoke in there, and if it has a shaft well like smoke detector, it's going to shunt the system. But you can still override it by putting it in bypass. We're not doing that. Is everybody clear on that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we check it. And I want you to walk over here, and here, this is a non-typical key that you see. Usually you see a regular key like this that's going into the fire service panel on the wall. So nobody's recalling these elevators right now. It's in normal mode. So we come up here. We check it. It's recalled. It's back down to the ground floor. The door should be open. If it's not recalled, we're going to put it in there because it might be a couple floors above where the alarms are. We could get multiple alarms. We're going to take your elevator key. We're going to recall it back to floor 1. We're going to lock the doors open so we can take control of it. So this is phase 1. So we go in, turn it. Now I've put it in fire service mode right here. So now we've taken it into phase 1. Do these keys stay or go with us? They go with us. So I'll come in and take the key out. All right. So now we have it in an on position. All right. Elevator's a little bit different. So I had to bypass, and it said fireman controls. You can tell how old these are because now it's fire service control. So we put it in fireman's or fire service mode to the on position to hold it down here. And if you notice, this is the point now we're going to come and check the shaft way. Check everything in there. Like you said, smoke, fire, rain down, reverse stack effect, because a lot of times if there is a fire in a high-rise and those elevators are being recalled, what happens? You ever heard of Venturi effect? So if there's smoke up on those floors and those elevators start to come down, what's going to happen to that smoke? by a suction, a draft of that car coming down, you could pull smoke into the lobby and think that you've got fires elsewhere in the building. Make sense? Yes, sir. So now we have just put it in to phase 1 of fire service mode. Now we're going to enter the car. All right, we're ready to go. Everybody make sure they have all their proper equipment ready to roll. So now we're in here. Now we've got our panel on the wall. All right, you take your key that you took out in the lobby. We're going to put it in here in the off position. Now we're going to turn this all the way into fire service mode. Now we put it into phase 2. Typically there could be a fire helmet that lights up here, or it'll illuminate that we've got it in fire service mode. Make sense? I have total control of this door. So you have to manually hold and depress close the door button. And that's a safety feature in these. So if I hit the closed doors, it's going to close. If I let go of it, what happens? It's going to open back up. All right? So that way, and you'll see what happens when I take you to 2 floors below the fire. So typically, say we're going to number 12. We're going to get off. We're going to stop the elevators on what?
Number 10.
10. Why are we stopping the elevators on 2 floors below?
So we don't get ourselves in any
unnecessary well, exactly. And the other thing is you want to lay out. And it's not bad if you're going up typically maybe every 5 or 6 floors, every five floors, that we stop and check it. So typically I'm going to stop every few floors to double check and make sure everything's fine and check the shaftway again. Make sense? Because the time we get in it to the time we go 5 or 6 floors, can conditions change?
Absolutely.
You're daggone right they can. So now we're going to go ahead and take it to number 4. All right, so I'm going to close the door. I got to hold it to depress it. And once it's closed, it's locked in position. All right, that's a single slide door. Now we're going to hit number 4. It's going to take us right to 4. Nobody can override the system because we have total control of the car. Make sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Now we get to this floor, you look at it, you feel it stop. Now this door will not open because it's a safety. Say we open this door or it bypasses the fire or it goes to the fire floor. We're like, oh no, something has happened. It's not going to open and put us in grave danger, is it?
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we're on the floor. I have to manually hold the door open to get this to open. All right, once I do this, now I can put it in the hold position. Now if I put it in hold, that keeps the door open. All right, the entire thing. Now, say we're the initial companies, 11, 14, 12, ladder 11, we're going to 2 floors below the fire on number 10. Now I'm holding this elevator on the floor, but if I have other crews and we don't have additional sets of elevator keys, I can very simply take this out of phase 2, turn it back to the off position, hit number 1, throw the keys into the car, and what's going to happen to the car? Because you still have phase 1 down there, right? So it's going to automatically, so somebody can take the elevators with the rest of the crews coming up. Make sense?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to take it out of hold, which the doors are going to close because y'all have now exited to go take a floor. And you want to sweep this floor to get a layout of how the rooms are set up or the offices. Make sense? All right. So now we're going to hold the door closed. And some newer elevators, when you hit the door closed, you don't have to hold it. As soon as you hit it, it's going to close. But it still has a safety feature that it will not open until you hold it. Make sense? And this is an older style system here. So if I let go of this, it's going to open right up again. All right, so we're going to number 1. And this is a very perishable skill right here, and you've got to practice it. So now we're back on number 1. So we're going to open the door open, hold it. Y'all go ahead and exit.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to take it out of phase 2. So I have to reset it in here before I can let these doors close. So I've taken it out of phase 1 or phase 2. Now right here, I'm going to go back in the on position. I'm going to turn it to bypass. What that does is reset it and then back to off. Bam. Now it's back into normal operations. And when it's in off, that means it's normal operations. Hey, thanks for tuning into this segment with elevators. If you have any questions, please hit me up through my email at wreynolds@vbgov.com. Thanks, stay safe, and have a great day.
Well, that's going to do it for this month's edition of Virginia Beach Frontline Firefighter. As always, we encourage you to send in any suggestions or ideas you may have for future segments to Kirk Kellerhals using the information you see on your screen. And remember to watch us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. For Virginia Beach Frontline Firefighter, I'm Mark Kahn.